The old man's hands were shaking when he placed the worn piece of paper on the polished marble table. Across from him sat one of the richest men in the city, surrounded by luxury, power, and people who treated him like a king. The millionaire glanced at the paper, smirked, and laughed loudly, the sound echoing across the elegant office. To him, it looked worthless, just a faded sheet with wrinkled edges. But the old man's eyes held a quiet certainty, as if he knew something the powerful man did not. Before we continue this emotional story, take a moment to support the channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of what truly matters in life, please like the video, share it with someone who needs inspiration today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss more powerful stories like this. The millionaire leaned back in his leather chair, still amused. His entire life had been built on numbers, profits, and deals worth millions. To him, value meant money, influence, and success measured in luxury cars and towering buildings. The old man sitting in front of him looked like someone life had long forgotten. His coat was worn, his shoes were dusty, and his face carried the deep lines of many difficult years. Yet the way he guarded that simple piece of paper made it seem more precious than gold. Years earlier, when the millionaire was still a young man struggling to survive in a cruel city, he had once been desperate, hungry, and alone. That same old man had quietly helped him at a moment when no one else cared. The paper he now placed on the table was not a contract or a debt. It was a forgotten promise written long ago, a promise the young man had made in gratitude, swearing that if he ever succeeded in life, he would return and help the man who had once saved him from losing everything. But success has a strange way of erasing memories. As the years passed, the young man became powerful, wealthy, and admired. Somewhere along the path to fortune, he buried the past and convinced himself that he owed nothing to anyone. That is why he laughed when he saw the paper. To him, it was just an old memory with no real value in a world ruled by money. Yet something changed when he finally read the words carefully. The handwriting was his own. The promise was real. And suddenly the laughter faded, replaced by a silence so heavy that even the air in the room seemed to pause. The paper did not represent money, it represented the moments someone believed in him when he had nothing. It carried the weight of kindness, gratitude, and a truth he had forgotten during his rise to power. If this story is already touching your heart, pause for a moment and leave a comment saying kindness always returns. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear it today. For the first time in many years, the millionaire looked at the old man not as a stranger, but as the person who once changed the direction of his entire life. In that quiet moment, surrounded by wealth that suddenly felt empty, he finally understood something powerful, that simple paper truly was worth more than his entire fortune, because it carried the memory of humanity he almost lost along the way. And before this story ends, if it touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can remind the world that sometimes the smallest acts of goodness become the most valuable treasures in life. Red Heart.